What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker here on Unique Access Entertainment. As always, please hit that subscribe button. As y'all know, it's right there. That's free. That enables us to keep coming to you guys as often as possible with as many interviews as possible with as many of the icons of the game as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share it, talk about it, be about it, each one, teach one. And we really appreciate you guys' support helping us grow. Now, today, we have the honor and the privilege of being joined by one of my friends, somebody I've been known for more than 20 years. Man,
Oh yeah.
Mr. KLC, thank you for coming through, sir.
Oh man, always, man. How's it going?
Man, it's just great to see you. And you got the brand new album. And after long wait, the Drum Major P1 is finally out. So KLC, I've been hearing this album in different forms and versions for a long time, from when you played it for me and other things that we've done. So what made now the right time for you to finally drop Drum Major P1?
Um, but first of all, I started recording this record like in '98. When on No Limit, that led up from the Hits by the Pound album. That when I went my ways from No Limit, I just put it up and didn't want to didn't want to even deal with it. And wanted to start with some new stuff that led up to the Drum Major album. And truthfully, the Drum Major album came from was an extension of the Hits by the Pound, because when we left, we was putting out Six Shot album, the actual meaning. And we did the deal with Tommy Boy, Warner, and it just led up to things happened. Shot got incarcerated. So we decided to part ways, and that was a project that was done that we had to shelf again. But it led up to that, to where everybody was like, man, like, you might as well just put your album out, KL, since you was gonna drop some on No Limit, the Hits by the Pound album. So that album was done. I didn't want to use anything that I did on No Limit at the time, so I started on all new music, and that led up to me recording the Drum Major album, which turned out to be the Drum Major P1, because I took both of the albums and combined them. That's why it's two parts, because by the time, I was up to like 40 or 50 songs. And even at that time, when we was about to release it on Atlantic, which was Asylum, but it was bumped up to Atlantic, things happened there. We didn't see eye to eye on things. So I just went back at it. I was going to change up some things on it. And I tweaked it a little bit more, did more songs, and swapped out more records. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to just fall back on it for a minute. And truthfully, I always was back and forth of putting it out, but it just got to the point where I wanted to just focus on artists. I didn't want to do a record. But within all of that time, we went through artists, we signed artists, we let artists go. To where with me, it had to be a chemistry. So in the Rest of the Pound. So it led up to, honestly and truthfully, when the documentary of the No Limit Chronicles happened, I was like, you know what, man, it's probably the best time to release all of that. That led up to 20. You know what I'm saying? It came out, I think, when did the Chronicle come out? Like 20 September or something?
Yeah, in the middle, second half of the year, yep.
And from 1998 to 2020, the No Limit Chronicles came on. I was like, you know what, let me just let all this shit fly, because the whole point is I wasn't gonna move forward until I get everything behind me just out the way. So I'm like, let's put these two projects out. And the thing about it was, in the process of those two projects, I started on another project called Alarm Clock, Better Late Than Never. So I'm probably pretty much more than halfway done with that record. So I was like, let me just get all of this old stuff out. Let me clear my folder and put this music out because people was always asking for it. So I'm like, when the No Limit Chronicles came, I was like, it's probably the best time to put it, you know. And before I was even to do that, when I started to, the format of music have changed to where they put out music, you know, because you know I'm old school, you know, you know how we put out records back then. So I just couldn't throw a record out there, so I had to have it perfectly set up, put in the system, and it led up to we finally about to release this project after all that time.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I'm glad you did because when you were on asylum and we had met up back then and you had played me, I remember some of these records in different versions or similar or whatever in some sort of way. So I'm glad they're finally seeing the light of day. And I wanted to get to some of those and some of the other ones that I wasn't familiar with. But on the title track, Drum Major, where you just kind of start off and you're talking trash and like people hating on you and making the snares dance and all these different things.
yeah.
What made you want to start it off with kind of you more talking and talking trash like that?
Well, first of all, when I did that record, that was for the it was gonna be because you know I do soldier songs at the beginning of all No Limit, you know, what they would consider like big records. And because everybody wasn't able to get one of those records. And I did it for that record. But in the midst of me doing it, I'm like, man, they can't rap on this because the way the snares was flowing, and I just caught the feeling of running it like that. Um, the I'm like, there's no way they're gonna be able to rap on this shit. And in the midst of me finishing the record up, was in the middle of us leaving, trying to, you know, go through the process of whatever we went through with No Limit with the breakup. So, you know, so I just you know, when we left, I just took that, got my bag of debts of the stuff that I had on, and I left and left all everything there and just moved on. And in the process of me making it and talking like that was because it was, you know, when you go through your change of when a new era and a new phase of producers coming in, think they can you know, test you, you know. So and it was just more to let you know that, you know, I'm a drummer. For better yet, I play snare drum. I march, I didn't do concerts. So um it became more of truthfully like me just programming drum rudiments over a beat when I did it. Because if you notice every soldier snare, every soldier beat, it just have that drum cadence to it. But when I did it, you know, and I pulled it up and gave it a listen to after we departed, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this an intro. Because I wanted to do a song called KLC versus Mystikal, because that's when Mystikal was fast flip rapping, and it was gonna be my snares against his flow. So that's how it was originally was supposed to go. But you know, Mystikal, he was touring a lot, so we really couldn't really get the time to do it. And I really got impatient because I wanted to do something with it so bad. And like with me, you know, the way I feel that day when I pulled it up, that's how I felt. I'm like, fuck it. These youngsters out here, they think they could just come in, you know, respect is given, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take it, but sometimes you gotta just kind of let them know, look here, peep this shit out, you know, so this not the typical shit that you could make. So just listen, learn something from me. That's what it was about.
Well, it's interesting too because when you're saying that, I know this about you, but I wanted you to speak on it. The fact that you are actually a drummer, how do you think that affects you as a producer compared to other people you've seen that aren't actually drummers that use, you know, samples or use drum machines exclusively? How do you think that helps you or affects you?
Well, but it's like if you listen to anything in any song that I've done, it's always heavy drum related. You know, you listen to like Move Bitch, it's mainly drums that drive the record. You listen to Down for My Niggas, drums that drives the record. You listen to all those soldier songs, drums that drive the record. So when I go into the production, you know, that's the first thing I think of. You got to make people move before you get to hear before they get to hear what you're saying. And that's how it is down south. You know, it's about that beat first. And I just took what I learned as a snare drummer, and I just play drum rudiments that I created, and just put the snares of the rudiments on top of some 808 drums. You know, and it became. I wasn't expecting it to be that dominant and it be that noticeable to where like that became the sound that people know me for. So that's where that came from.
It definitely works. And one of my favorites is the I Don't Hide on there with Fiend, Mia X, yourself. And that one I love because not only the drums, but how you use the piano on there.
Right.
Sonically, I thought that was great. And I wanted you to get into, since you had worked with Mia for so long and worked with Fiend for so long, what is it about the three of you working together that helps create this magic?
It's always is like Fiend, Mia, and Mystikal. And P too, you know what I'm saying? It's just something about when first of all with Mia is like Mia always makes it easy because every time we do sessions and she's part of the song, she cooks. So that's part of it. That's a huge part. Every time we get in the studio with Mia, you know, a home cooked meal coming with it. So and it was always like that with her album, you know. So but it just Fiend and that energy, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like not anybody could just get on them type of beats and just um rock with it, or else you know the beat is gonna whoop them bad. You know what I'm saying? So, but Mia, Fiend, Mystikal, um, and P. Serve did his thing on that record too. But it just like Mia, and she just you know always kills it. And Fiend, you know, just on top of his the flow he had, his voice carried volume. Like when he speaks, it's loud and it's deep. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like an easy cut. When it comes down to Mia, Fiend, Mystikal, and P on the Soldier beat, it's just like no other.
I agree. Now on the drum major, including another one of my favorites, the Play It Loud. Um, it's so most of it, not all of it, which we'll get to in a little bit, but most of it is, and most of your stuff that I love so much is up tempo. It's rowdy, it's fast. What is it about that tempo and that speed and that energy that appeals to you so much?
Man, when you notice like that tempo, all of the tempos in those kind of records, like I said, go back to the Soldier song, it's something to where like it's slow enough to rock in your car to where you can bob to it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. You know, everybody else calls it that bounce, but when you get that tempo to where when you hear it, you know, it can put you and set you up to be in anywhere, in any situation to where like if you're in the club, um, at that time music was slowing down and I was say that I was the reason of it, you know what I'm saying? But it's just something about the that tempo like 85. You know, I don't double time my beats because I want them to breathe. I want them to have space open to where when they that slow, you'll be able to hear every instrument and feel every instrument to where it'll have this space for each one of them to just have his own lane to move in. You know, it's kind of like putting a straw on a fire hydrant. It's too much water to come through that little through a straw because you know what I'm saying. You just wouldn't hear everything or get everything. But if you put a fire hose on a regular hose pipe, the hose is big enough to where the water have way more room to run through. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know that you wanted to have that space. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to have that space. That's why I really rock with it slow, you know what I'm saying? Because every instrument, you'll be able to hear it.